Good evening. We welcome in viewers from across our province tonight. After 2 days of holding out hope for Haley, we have the worst possible outcome.
Given the overwhelming evidence in this case, the videotaped confessions, I kept wondering, why would he possibly plead not guilty to these 3 murders? And after sitting in that courtroom for so long, you have a theory on that.
By any standards of human disclosure, a criminal confession can never truly be called voluntary. With rare exception, a confession is compelled, provoked, and manipulated from a suspect by an individual who has been trained in a genuinely deceitful art. That is the essence of interrogation, and those who believe that a straightforward conversation between a cop and criminal devoid of—
Oh, you scared the— oh my god. I didn't even notice that you were behind me. Oh my god, that was so scary. Oh my god. Oh god. I thought, okay, murder is happening here. Okay. I was like, damn. It's popping off here. I'm about to get murdered. Okay. Thank you, Mom.
Of any treachery can solve a crime are somewhere beyond naive. If the interrogation process is from a moral standpoint contemptible, it is nonetheless essential. Deprived of the ability to question and confront suspects and witnesses, a detective is left with just the physical evidence, and in many cases, precious little of that. Without a chance for a detective to manipulate a suspect's mind, a lot of dangerous people would simply go free. A perfect example is the interrogation of Derek Saretzky, a 24-year-old Alberta native who is suspected of 1 count of murder and 1 count of first-degree kidnapping at the time of his interrogation. On the morning of September 14th, 2015, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police received a call from Bill Blanchett reporting the death of his 20-year-old son, Terry, and the disappearance of his 2-year-old granddaughter, Haley. Terry had suffered over 30 blunt force injuries, had his throat slit, and had been stabbed over a dozen times. Police canvassed the entire neighborhood in search of the missing toddler and gathered intel from the neighbors that suggested the incident took place at around 3:30 a.m. Surveillance footage was checked and revealed only a handful of vehicles were in the area during that time period, one of which being the van belonging to Larry Saretzky. The police arrived at the business's residence and found nothing. They then searched the small apartment attached to the side of the establishment where the owner's son, Derek Saretzky, lived. A single piece of physical evidence was discovered, giving authorities probable cause for arrest. They found a notepad in his bedside drawer with the names Shy Terry and The Hideous Baby crossed out. Forensics were unable to uncover any further clues linking him to the 2 victims. The only DNA found at the residence was of the suspect. From initial observation, the note would appear as exceedingly damning evidence when submitted in a court of law. Yet this type of averment would be easily invalidated by a defense team. The fact that the note was discovered nearly 24 hours after the crime was reported on the local news would give a defense advocate the grounds to argue that the suspect was simply transmitting what he saw on the TV into printed composition. This could have been done for a multitude of purposes, including reminding himself to keep a lookout for the missing child, or attending the funeral of the murder victim. Implausible, but not—
Yeah, dude. You know, the hideous baby that was just murdered.
Not impossible. The police would have been fully aware that they needed a full confession to avoid the indignation of future plea deals, or the very real possibility of the suspect being found not guilty. A homicide investigation team will make every effort to gain as much information as possible on the suspect in the short window they have between their initial detainment and their interrogation. This will include cursory interviews with friends, family, and acquaintances, as well as social media activity and previous convictions. Derek had no criminal record and almost no social media presence, yet through his father and co-workers' testimony, the police quickly discovered that the suspect was a highly reclusive individual with very few friends and suffered from bipolar type 2 disorder. Suspects with depressive disorders are more susceptible than the average person to the amiable disposition a detective will often put forward during a questioning procedure. The reasoning behind this concept is that the less endearment and affection an individual is customary to in their everyday life, the the more reactive they will be to those same sentiments inside an interrogation room. The heightened anxiety levels during a confrontational procedure can also influence their impressionability, making them predisposed to giving an investigator the information they want. The Crownist Pass Police Department only released part of the interrogation tape into the public domain at the request of multiple media outlets. The footage that was broadcast begins at the final stages of the interrogation, where the detective appears to have laid out most of the groundwork in terms of building rapport and interconnection with the suspect. This is made evident by the breach of personal space, the soft-spoken tone of the officer, and the continuous reassurance given to the suspect with both verbal and non-verbal communication.
Don't let her be alone. Be a hero for her. Be a hero, buddy. Let this community know that you're a hero, not a monster. Is she alive, Derek, or is she dead?
Is this Jim Smith? It looks like Jim Smith. It's really blurry, but it do be looking like Jim Smith's hairline.
Look at me. Is she alive?
She's not alive.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. Where is she, buddy? Where is she?
The devil made me turn her to ashes.
Okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay. That's okay. Is it in the bush where you burnt her? Is that where she died?
Yeah, it's in the bush.
How did you kill her?
I choked her.
Okay. Okay?
Just like he choked me.
Yeah.
In an earlier part of the interrogation that wasn't released, the suspect described how the devil would choke him in his sleep every morning before he woke up. This is most likely what he is referring to.
Did she suffer?
A little bit.
A little bit?
He told me to save myself on my own. He said I had to do some soul searching.
He said killing her would save you?
So he says what he did.
Derek continuously makes references to the messages he supposedly received from the devil in a cryptic manner. The detective acknowledges the statements, yet doesn't inquire further as to not alter the verbal path of his current admittance. If he ceases his ongoing avowal and goes off on a separate tangent, it may be hard to bring him back to his confessive dialogue.
How did you choke her?
I can't tell if this is like, if he's faking it or if he actually is like, if he actually was like schizophrenic or something. Now, the reason why I say this is because like the devil thing that he's talking about, people don't know this, but like it could literally be gas. I know I've talked about this before. I'm not making a joke. Okay. But sometimes when you're really gassy and you fall asleep, like the feelings that you have, like you're being choked in your fucking sleep. No gas, like not carbon monoxide. Like a fart. I swear to God, the gas like pushes your fucking heart or something. I don't know what it is. It's like hard to fucking breathe. It gets hard to breathe. And then you feel like, wow, I really fucked this up. But like, he could also have like sleep apnea or something. Yeah, exactly. That is another thing. When you have sleep apnea or when you have indigestion, it literally feels like you can't breathe in your dreams and stuff. Well, I guess with sleep apnea, you don't even dream at all. But like that's where a night terror like that comes from. You need to see a doctor. It doesn't happen to me regularly or at all. It like happens like once a year. If I like, you know, eat like shit.
Anyway.
I know.
Where'd you get the shoelace?
I don't know where I got it from. I just had it in one of the bags.
Did you cut her before you choked her to death, or did you cut her after?
I choked her first.
So she was dead when you cut her?
Yeah. feel terrible.
I understand, but you're doing a great job, so you should start to feel better. This should be healing for you. Did you...
Should be. Probably won't be.
No, it
Still
will be.
won't get me to where I want to be.
It's a start, but it's the first day of the rest of your life. What did you cut of hers?
What was that? What did I cut her with?
What did you cut of hers? Like what part of her did you cut? It's just to understand. It's not to
Legs,
judge.
arms,
Tell me about it.
waist.
You cut them off?
I ate a little bit of her heart.
You ate a bit of her heart?
What the
Try
fuck?
to strengthen mine.
And how did that make you
I
feel?
drank a bit of her blood to try to strengthen me
And how did that make you feel?
a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I
And
spilled
did it
all
give
over
you the
my...
strength to tell the truth today?
It did make me strong.
It did?
For a bit. Just a little bit.
What did the devil say when... Why did the devil tell you to kill Terry?
I don't think this dude's faking it, bro.
The terrible father.
So what did you use to kill Terry?
Used a knife.
A knife?
Yeah.
What kind of knife? Can you describe it, please?
Bro, people keep saying, yeah, he has bipolar. Okay, guys. Do you not know what bipolar is? Like some of you literally are just like, oh, he has bipolar. Oh, okay. I didn't realize when you're bipolar, you eat hearts, bro.
It was just a normal, unserrated knife. It's in the fire pit now.
Same fire pit that you burned her in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't burn her alive.
You didn't?
No.
No, you told me you choked her first, right?
Yeah, I choked her first. Went to his side door. I heard a train go past. So I figured that was a good time to check out the house. I had a flashlight on, my mask on. Looked at Terry in the face, smash. And I grabbed him with some rope. I could choke him. Choked him and then cut his throat.
After Derek confessed to the double homicide of the father and daughter, he then led officers to a campsite in Blairmore where he burned the toddler's body in a fire pit.
Yeah, it's...
Okay, so we'll get out. We'll talk about it.
What the fuck?
I'll get your door and stuff. Here.
Okay.
So where did you take Haley?
Over here.
Whereabouts? Can you just show me? Like, just take me right there.
This was moved.
This was moved?
This was...
Damn, bro. Homies had fucking lunches and shit on there since then. That's crazy, dude. You're like having a fucking family gathering.
Where it was.
You don't need to move it, but...
It's right here.
So you had Haley right here? Okay, so what did you do?
There, yeah.
What did you do first?
I started stocking the fire pile with books. A bunch of books till I got the fire decently going and then put some wood on it. Then I choked her over there.
Where? You wanna take
Over
me?
there about...
You just take me to the spot?
He was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of indignity to a human body in relation to Haley's death. He made his first court appearance 7 days later, where 2 consecutive psychiatric assessments were ordered to see if he was mentally suitable to undergo further legal proceedings. On November the 26th of 2015, he was deemed fit to stand trial. Several months later, while Derek was awaiting his next court date, DNA analysis linked him to the body of 69-year-old Hannah Mekatek, who who was found in her mobile home in Alta, bludgeoned and stabbed to death just 5 days prior to the killings of Terry and Haley. He immediately confessed to her murder, according to reports, and told the police that it was a spur-of-the-moment thing, and he chose her because he didn't think anyone would miss her. He remained in a high-security unit of the Lethbridge Correctional Center until the start of his trial on June 7, 2017.
Why would he possibly plead not guilty to these three murders? And after sitting in that courtroom for so long, you have a theory on that.
Yeah, I do. And I do have to reiterate that it is my personal theory, but it's my perception that he wanted these details aired, and that is why he pleaded not guilty, because if he had pleaded guilty, none of these details would have come out. So what the jury heard was that in his apartment they found a book called The Serial Book of Serial Killers, and in his backpack they found pages torn from that book. Upon further investigation on my own part, I realized that the story detailed on those pages torn out was the story of Edward Gain, who was a murderer in the earlier 1900s, and what he did has inspired horror movies such as Psycho and Silence of the Lambs. So as far as I can tell from what I've seen and heard throughout this trial, imitation was really his motive for all of this, and notoriety was his goal in pleading not guilty.
The Crown submitted that all the talk of the devil and God making him commit the crimes was Derek consciously setting the groundwork for a potential insanity defense, and that the murders of Terry and Haley were meticulously planned, right down to the location of where he destroyed the child's body. They also argued that the killing of Hannah Mekatek was a practice run for the double homicide that followed, and that all three of the victims were mere pawns in the defendant's thrill-killing venture once they became known to him through his father's dry cleaning.
He was fucking faking it.
Cleaning business.
I feel like anytime somebody says like the devil made me do it, it's like an automatic self-report. Anytime someone's like, oh yeah, oh shit, dude, oh fuck, the devil made me do it, it's like, oh, dude, you're straight up just saying this because you want to do an insanity plea.
The prosecutor also stated that a sexual motive behind the child's murder was a very likely possibility, yet couldn't be proven by a medical examiner due to the amount of damage done to her body. A jury found him guilty on all charges after 21 days and rendered him a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 75 years. He currently resides at the maximum security Edmonton Institution in southern Alberta. He is yet to receive a single visit from a friend or family member.
Hey chat, murder is wrong, okay? Don't forget.